creative things,
That's true there. We're very creative, yeah.
It's hard to
I've
find
been
a...
called other things other than creative. But, no, just finished closing a bunch of mobile home parks this month. So it's been a good month. Yeah. Good. We close anything and everything. You want me to roll?
Yes, sir, buddy.
Do I need this or not?
Yeah.
You want me to hold it?
Yeah, no, so that's fine as long as you stay within the 2 X's on the
I
ground.
will.
2 X's,
The
right,
2
I
X's
got
on the
two
ground.
I'll get in trouble with that. You keep
Okay,
that. There you
all
go.
right, got 2 X's on
You
it.
got it. Guys, my name is Mark Weeks. I'm a real estate lawyer. I'm not a real lawyer. I'm not trying to convince 12 people you're innocent or guilty. That's not me. Don't call me if you're DUI. I'm not going to be able to help you. If you want to close something, we can close anything. So I guess they asked me to come talk tonight. I deal with a lot of these guys and gals in here. There's, the biggest thing out there in real estate, guys, the reason I like real estate is, investing in the stock market. The only people that do well in the stock market are my friends that live up there or work on Wall Street. My money never seems to do well there. So, but I know in real estate, I can go touch it, feel it, and see it. It's still there. I don't care what the market's doing up there in Wall Street. I don't really care. I got a 401k. That's the only thing I've gotten those clowns have any control over because I got to have a 401k. I like real estate. I like mobile home parks. I like car dealerships. We do everything from mobile home parks, car dealerships, a lot of apartment buildings. I do a lot of tax deed property, a lot of master and equity. We do all the stuff that a lot of people don't want to do. But there's nothing that can't be closed. When people say, oh, it's got heirs property, and I've got a young lady in my office who's got 100 quiet title actions going on right now. There's nothing that can't be closed. Do the quiet stuff. Don't run from the hard stuff. Everybody's looking for the sweet stuff. The hard stuff, I think, is where you make your money. I mean, these mobile home parks, some of these ones I pick up, and some of these places, tax deed properties, the title's awful, but if you vet them properly and you get the right person in there, you can make a lot of money doing these things. I mean, like I said, I like real estate. I can touch it, feel it, see it, but the biggest thing for you guys is be careful. A lot of you guys are savvy. I'm talking to some of you guys that have done a lot of this, and I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to some of you other guys or gals that maybe not have done it a lot. Just be careful getting into it. You be careful. You vet that property before you put a contract on it. Or you at least write that contract where you got to get out of jail free card for 30 days. Because I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of there's a lot of title out there that needs to really be looked at. When I say quiet title action, I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8 months down the road, $4, 5, 6, $7,000. A lot of people don't have that money. It's worth it to get it done, but I don't want you buying some property that may not be fixable, so to speak. Tax deeds, for example. I do a lot of tax deed properties. That's when people don't pay their property taxes and the county takes them back. You might buy it and they give them a year to redeem it. They don't, all of a sudden you get a tax deed. That is not marketable title. That is not good title. I don't care what anyone tells you, but the most important thing, guys, is for us to vet that property. Because if the county did not notify all the proper parties, if they didn't notify the mortgage company, or they didn't notify a lien or something, I can't wipe them out in a quiet title action. I can't clean up your property. You could buy a tax deed and be stuck with a $100,000 mortgage on it. So don't just buy these things. Don't just run down to the master and equity and buy or a tax deed. Vet the properties. Guys, you can call me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I live by myself and with my dog. But we check. I do lien searches for free. They come straight for Charleston, Berkeley, Dorchester County. I'll do your lien search fee. Just call me. So that's Mark. I'm looking at this property. I'll do a current owner lien search for you. It's not a 40-year search, but at least let you know what's out there. It'll let you know if they got 2 or 3 mortgages, got an IRS tax lien. I don't want you buying stuff like that. I don't want you making an offer on something like that and getting stuck in something like that. You be careful. I can vet it. It doesn't cost you a dime. It goes straight to my email, mweeks@weekslawfirm.net. I get hundreds of those damn things. I mean, they come to me. I mean, even people don't do business with me. I need to start checking on some of those people. But it's mweeks@weekslawfirm.net, and it's if you need a lien search. If you've got a piece of property you're looking at it, hey, Mark, I just want to know. Fine. Within 24 hours, I'll copy you on an email with me and my abstractor, and he or she will send you back, say, hey, it's got 1 mortgage or 2 mortgages, and foreclosure's got some liens. You might want to stay away from it. I mean, I don't want you to make an offer on something you can't buy, and I don't want you to take a listing or hang out with something you can't sell. Okay, I mean that's the beauty of the lien search, and that's the but you got to do your due diligence, guys. Real estate's the greatest thing out there. It's the greatest investment you can make. But make sure you're getting in with the right deal, man, because not all the deals are great. I mean, there's zoning. There's so many things that you need to check, especially land. I got a lot of friends of mine that want to buy vacant land. Well, you go out there and check that land out too. You got to vet that too. Does it have access? If you don't have a private, if you're not on a county maintained road, you're not going to get a bank loan. Banks want private road maintenance agreements. You try getting a private road maintenance agreement on a road for 12 people living on that road who don't, all of a sudden you're wanting them to sign off on something they're going to agree to maintain a road. It's not going to happen. Check the zoning. Make sure if you want to put a trailer out there, you can put a trailer out there. You may or may not be able to. What's it zoned for that? Is there a survey? Do you have good meets and bounds? Heck, half the time people don't. You need to make sure that. Does it perk? You know, there are some very expensive septic systems now you can put out there, but if you don't have a lot of money, you want the basic septic system. It doesn't perk, you can't get a well or septic out there. So, again, it's just all part of you doing your due diligence. You got to do your due diligence in property, guys. It's not just checking the title, it's the contract too, guys. I teach contracts classes all the time. And I'm telling you, man, the biggest problem people, that contract, you got to protect yourself as a buyer. I teach a buyer's contracts class, and I've been told unethical things because I teach a class for buyers. You need to be careful. When you're a buyer, you make that seller pay for every damn thing you think you can. Excuse my language. I think we use a prayer word. Sorry about that. But whatever. But I'm just telling you, you draft that contract to protect your client. You draft that contract. You want that seller paying everything. Guys, let me tell you something. That real estate contract out there, if you got a lazy realtor, you can light people up. Because they're not looking at that thing. They're docu-signing those bad boys anymore. And I'll tell you what, you docu-sign my contract that I prepared for my buyer, you're in trouble. Because I'm going to have the seller paying anything and everything I can. From a certificate of assessment to closing costs to transfer fees, it's all in there. So I mean, contract's crucial too, guys. I mean, so it's not just, it's getting you a good realtor. If you're not savvy like a lot of these guys and gals in here, if you're not savvy, get yourself a good realtor. Or get one of these guys or gals in here who can help you. Because I'm telling you, man, if you got a good person on the front end, guys, there's certain things I don't do. I don't know anything about Wall Street. I'm good with real estate law and doing contracts, stuff like that, but with stuff I'm not, I'm going to hire people who know what they're doing. I don't go up on my roof and fix my roof. You know how? Because I ain't going to roll off and break my back. It's not what I do. I'm not going to paint my house. I'm not going to mow my lawn. It's not what I do. All right? I do real estate law, and that's what I do all day long. And that's the same thing with me. If I'm going to buy something, I'm going to ask some of these guys around here and gals around here I know that know what they're doing. They've got some good stuff out there. I'm saying, hire somebody, guys, if you're not, hire somebody that knows what they're doing. It's crucial. You get someone good that can draft that contract, that can help you through the process. You get a good realtor, a good banker, and good investors around and find good property, you can make good money in these things. There's good money to be made. I know a lot of guys and gals in here who make some really good money, and they turn some really good stuff, but they hustle. It's not easy, guys. You got to hustle this stuff. You're going to kiss an ass of frogs before you're going to find daggone Romeo, I can tell you that. I've kissed a lot of frogs in my life. You can laugh all you want, but there's a lot of frogs out there, and these guys can tell you. But if you hustle enough, guys, you're going to find it. And I'm telling you, man, the best place to invest your money is in real estate, but do it wisely, do it smart. Don't just jump at the first thing. Sometimes if it looks too good, it may be. I'm not saying you may get lucky and get your first one, but if you vet the process, you do well, you check the property, you do lien searches, you make sure you investigate, you look at it. You may not get the first one, you may let the last one go by, but check the neighborhoods, see how the schools are over there. I mean, that's a lot of people, a lot of different variables go into what's good and what can sell and what can't. I like multifamily properties, like a lot of these guys. I think those are great. Multifamily, I've never lost money in multifamily if you can find them anymore. They're not that easy to find, but if you can find some multifamily or even good land, get lucky on some land out there. All I'm saying for real estate guys, it's great, but do your due diligence. That is crucial. Check it out up front. Make sure you're working with good people. Make sure you can get the financing. Don't obligate yourself to something that can't happen, guys. And be careful, guys. And we can get into a lot of this. I mean, I'm going to let you guys ask me some questions, but there are a lot of good things out there too. If you've got a good piece of investment property and you're going to sell it and you're going to reinvest that money, 1031 tax exchanges, I don't mean to keep throwing around a lot of stuff, but I do a lot of those. There's no reason for you ever to give Uncle Sam anything. If you're going to sell a piece of property and reinvest it, why would you sell it, pay Uncle Sam, and then invest it? I mean, I got to sit here all night and talk to you about all these different things we do. But 1031s, guys, just remember that. If you're selling a piece of investment property and you're going to reinvest that money, use the tax-deferred exchange. It's just the greatest way to basically defer taxable dollars. My dad did one for my mom for 40 years. He swapped up beach houses on Garden City, Polyzon for 40 years. When my dad died, $4 million beach house, tax-free. My mom got a stepped-up basis on everything. But my dad did it for 40 years. You know, but again, there was no reason to not do it. It's investment property. You know, it's just, that's all he was doing, is anytime he'd do a 1031, just reinvest in another property, reinvest in another beach house. And it's you know, I don't know, it's just the one great tax loop the federal government still affords us. If I can get around paying Uncle Sam, I'm going to do it. You know, I mean, if one thing someone said today, you didn't give to that charity, I give quarterly. I'm not giving any more. I give every quarter. Every time I do my quarter tax lease, God, that was a joke. I give quarterly. I give quarterly there to my church, and that's it. Not giving to anybody else. I'm tired of it. I'm just kidding with you. But that was a joke with quarterly there, guys. All right, I guess we didn't get into that. But no, I mean, we do anything and everything. There's nothing that can't be closed. So please don't let anybody tell us something that can't be closed. Because I got a young lady who can clean it up. If it's probate, don't run from probate either. We can always get you in probate. We can always get court orders. We can always get your property sold. It's just sometimes a matter of you got old heir. A lot of you guys may have old heirs property. Don't run from those either. We can help you with those. I have a soft heart for a lot of those guys and gals that get stuck in those ones where they may have 100 acres of land and there's 30 heirs or 40 heirs in there. We can help you with that. It may take a year to get it closed, but we can help you with that. And we kind of don't charge you. We do about 4 or 5 of those a year for free. If you run into something like that with your family, because just keep those property taxes paid. Don't ever let the property taxes go. I don't give a rat's ass if you don't know who all owns it. You keep your property taxes paid, and I can help you. Don't let those properties go to tax sales. Okay? Pick up the phone and call one of these investors around here to help you. But don't let those things go. Those are important. But if you run into something like that, we can help you on that. It's not always about the dollar. Sometimes it's about giving back. That contract's crucial too, though, guys. Like I said, the contract's crucial. Do your due diligence. Make sure your contract's drafted. Make sure you got a good banker. There's nothing wrong with hard money, guys. Hard money's great. Hard money's not there forever. It's not the fix-all for a 10-year hard money. But if you're flipping property, hard money's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I deal with a lot of hard money lenders. They're not bad people. They serve a purpose. You want to get in and get out. If you're flipping property, hard money's great. You know, you don't want hard money for the long term, which one of you guys know, but I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with having a hard money lender. I deal with a lot of pawn shops too. I mean, I've done everything and everything. I don't know. Guys, another thing, trust. You know, some people, put their property in different things. I like trust for individual people. I think they've got more financial planning in them, so I like trust. Now, if you're buying with a group of guys or gals or people, then you need the LLC with a good operating agreement. But for individuals, I like the trust. The trust does what an LLC doesn't do because it's got financial planning in it. LLCs typically don't. If you die as trustee of the trust, it basically puts the property in different members, the successor trustees and people like that. I might be getting a little out there in some of these things, guys, but we can close anything. If you have any questions about anything, because I can close a dump down the road, I can close hotels, car dealers, we do it all. So, yes sir, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do you do PPMs as well?
What do you mean by that?
Like private placement memorandums?
We don't.
Or, okay.
No, it's everything we do. We won't sell restaurants. All we do is fix. We
Well, it's for like syndicating multifamily housing.
Oh, the way is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
No, I mean that's a little out there for us, but that's a step beyond. We try and be able to turn. We churn. We probably do 15,000 closes a year, but the majority of it is it's single family. We do a lot of mobile home parks, stuff like Carl, but it's we're more of a mill. We have everything we do is in-house. We got our own abstractors, our own. We don't let anything get out of our firm. We have our own probate lawyers. We have our own quiet title action lawyers. Everything we keep in-house. I don't want to ever ask another lawyer or anybody else to do something for me because it never seems to happen. But I have not done that. But I think some of these guys, Jen's friends, and he may have. There's been a couple of guys that probably have done stuff like you're doing there. That gets to me. Yeah, that gets a little. That's where we probably. That's just too time-consuming for us, if you know what I mean. But no, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's great stuff if you get the right people to do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Mike, how long is the period between one investment to the other investment?
Well, temporary tax, the exchange, what they say, safe harbor rule is a year. You got some people that'll say, well, I bought it this year, I'm going to sell it the next year, but typically it's a year. I've got guys that do it a little bit, quicker than that. I mean, really, what are the chances you're going to get, is the IRS really going to audit you? I mean, that's really what it boils down to. I would do it, I don't know, safe harbor's a year. but I've got people that do them. Again, what does it boil? Are you going to get audited or not? Probably not. But I don't know that they knock on your door. Guys, if they ever knock on your door, don't tell them you caught me. Tell them you thought you could do this. Don't ever tell them you caught me. No, it's a year. I'm just kind of kidding. Kind of kidding. I'm kind of not. Yo, it's a year.
Can you please talk a little bit about land contract, and you can give an example of my situation when I met and when I started work with you?
Doing installment contracts?
Yeah.
You know, installment contracts, guys, if you don't know, the installment contracts, usually when someone's trying to sell you a piece of property and they still owe money on it, some people do subject to, some people do installment contracts or land contracts. I don't have a problem with it, but you really need to be a savvy investor to be messing with land contracts and installment contracts. They're fairly dangerous because if I'm selling you a piece of property and I still have a mortgage on it and you don't have the money to refinance, I'm really working for you because you can't get the financing. So we're going to do an installment contract, which basically means, you know, let's say I'm buying from him. Listen, Will's going to sell me a property, still owes 100 grand on it. He's selling it to me. That's going to be an installment contract in place, that, and I record those to protect you, so you can apply for your lower tax rate. And I just think it's good to record those. And I get a deed back and forth from the buyer and the seller. Then I give those original deeds to the seller when they get paid in full. That's important to do. But without saying that, the installment contract, the property really, the installment contract is in my name now. I'm buying from Will. The problem with that is we're hoping that Will, you know, is going to keep good credit. We're hoping Will doesn't get any IRS taxes. We're hoping I don't get any IRS taxes, liens or judgments against me. That's the problem. That's one of the problems is if you get tax liens or something, one of you gets a lien or a judgment against you, it's attached to that property. So if that guy selling it to me has IRS problems, all of a sudden, yeah, at the end of the day, I paid him, and all of a sudden I got an IRS tax lien on that property. You know, that's one of the main. The other problem with the installment contracts is insurance. It is very difficult to work around the insurance process because Will's got a property he's selling me and he's got a mortgage on it. Well, that bank's got that mortgage, still got that insurance, and as long as he owns it, that insurance is in his name. I've got to be able to convince his insurance carrier that, you know, I'm an additional insured. Can you put me on that policy? It's not that easy. I mean, some insurance carriers get it and they'll put you on there and it makes it easy. Others don't, and all of a sudden you're carrying two policies, and it's just it can be a train wreck. Guys, you got to be savvy if you're messing with these things with people. You got to be savvy, and you got to make sure people understand what they're getting into. Because I tell you, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them with savvy investors, but if you're not a savvy investor, you don't need to be in an installment contract. I don't think. We do a lot of them. I do a ton of them. But they're mainly savvy guys and gals, so I have no problems with them. But you know, they're not. It's not the norm. Okay, it's not the norm at all. But it is a way to buy a piece of property that someone owes some money on. You know, and it's a good way for someone that may not have that great a credit. I'm not a fan of you know, of leases with option to purchase. Okay, if you want to buy my house and you're my tenant, knock on my door when you get the money. Okay, if you're going to do leases with option to purchase, just make sure you do them properly. Make sure they're both separate, the lease and the option. You breach the lease, your option's null and void. If you don't have that language in there, guys, and they got this option to buy for 10 years and they breach your lease, I don't give that some bitch is living in California. Now, guess what? He's still got 10 years to buy your house. So you be careful drafting those documents. I mean, did that make sense there? Because if that lease, he breaches that lease, that means to make that option null and void. I mean, a lot of the stuff is just, and there's, you know, I'm just not a big fan of that. I don't know why people, now if you can get this big nuts, a lot of these people get this giant dollar down, I don't know why these people pay it. They give you 20 G's to have the option to buy your house. If you can get something like that, then, you know, maybe you do it, okay, if you can get some real money in there. And I don't know that a lot of these people, they can't get financing, but they can sure as hell come up with $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to give you for an option, so. Yeah, I mean, so, you know, that's, I'm just not a big fan of those. Subject twos, again, people buying houses subject to, I'm okay with those too. Again, you need to be somewhat savvy guys and gals. A lot of financing, a lot of these guys that make some money, they turn and burn on some stuff that is not the norm. Okay, it's not, I mean, some of these guys don't sleep at night. They did some pretty, they've done some pretty, I mean, no, it's great. I mean, you know, there's some good stuff out there, but a lot of these guys, like I said, you kissed a lot of frogs to get where they are. And they've done well, and you got to do that. I mean, you may hope I get lucky and you don't kiss many frogs. I've kissed a buttload of frogs, and I still kiss some frogs. But I can tell you this, the one thing in my life that I do have right now, and I can go touch, feel, and see every day, are my office buildings that I own. And that's the one thing I can say, I own my property. I don't care what the economy is. I can still go touch it, feel it, see it. I still get my rent every month from it. And I'm telling you, to me, that's the safest bet in the world is real estate. Just use good people. Surround yourself with good people. Do good due diligence. You know, and again, just good people. Good people mean good realtors, good insurance people, and good bankers. People you trust, people that do you right. If you got a good group, keep them. If you got a good lawyer that does your closing, does a good job, keep them. You know, that's what I try and tell people. I'm going to hustle for you. I'm not a 9-to-5 guy. I close them at 6 in the morning. I close them at 1, 2, or 3 in the morning for some of my builders. It is what it is. I'm a hustler. I'm not a lawyer. Anybody can go to law school. It's just a ways and means. It gave me a way to do what I do. I'm not the guy going to get you out of jail at 12 o'clock Saturday night. You know, I might be closing a loan at 12 o'clock when you're getting out of jail, but I ain't going to Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
No, I'm always going to tie into the previous thing of syndication. I just got back from the seminar on Dallas that a whole week was just focused on syndication. And some deals and some properties, they are not meant to be syndicated because it's just meant for one investor to come in, and the numbers wouldn't make sense, you know, if you bring in equity partners and things like that. And there are many ways you can slice the pie, right? I mean, there's equity, there's a waterfall, there is preferred interest, and so on. So it's, when I sat there, the gist of it, it was, I don't know if I want to be syndicator, because it's freaking complicated, and you got to have PPM in place, and they're like, 50,
Oh, I
you
don't,
know,
listen, man, I mean, I'm 15 grand deep in a lawyer over in Mount Pleasant on 1 ppm.
yeah.
He's not even finished yet. So, I mean, I get it, though.
Yeah.
And we underwrite, I mean, our underwriting sheet is so thorough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we got 15 tabs on a damn Excel sheet. We underwrite the crap out of everything we do. And we structure it that way. Because I can't knock down 150 units, take me 3 months to close, 4 months to close with my own personal finances.
Right.
I've had 7 rental houses. That sucks. Rental houses suck. But if I can go take 7 rental houses that kicked my ass for 4 years, get rid of them, and in 4 months now I got 152 units.
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it. I mean, you know,
Dude, we killed it. We're killing it on that. One place.
We'll talk more about that because it seems like we might be able to.
Yeah, absolutely.
create some
Guys, they're talking stuff that might be, that's what I'm saying, they're way down the road from the norm. I do a lot of work with Jens, these guys, and they're way, again, nothing wrong with what they're doing. I'm saying you're right. I mean, hey, I used to have a couple hundred pieces of rental property. Tenants, it's good to have a property manager. All right? There's nothing wrong with that. That'll keep you from killing yourself or the tenant. Because typically, and I don't mean this the wrong way, tenants are tenants for a reason. Not always, but the norm is. There's some good, if you can get I've got a place now with a friend of mine that's all Section 8, and it's great for us. It's 100% Section 8, so I don't have to collect anything. I like those. It's 100% Section 8 means the government's paying it all. I don't have to go collect any of it. Right? I don't have to pay someone to collect any of that. Some people like those, some people don't. I'm okay with that. I like mobile home parks. Mobile home parks to me are the greatest because I can get 40 mobile homes. I can put a policeman in one of them, let him live there for free, and then I let somebody else live there for free to collect all my stuff. They're cars. And all I got to do, I don't have to maintain them that well, and I just swap them out every 20 to 30 years. And to me, those are, again, I love mobile home parks. I've got a bank up in Indiana that sends me 5 or 6 of them a year to sell, and sometimes I buy. And they're just, I don't know, to me it's the greatest investment ever because it's simple, it's not a lot of upkeep, it's not a whole lot of overhead, and you just hire 2 people to manage, one to police it, one to manage it, and it's not a bad gig. I don't know, these guys, Jens has done some of those, he's done.
I'm closing one part tomorrow with Mark, and then we're going into contract on another part here next week.
But guys, even a small rental property is a good thing because here's the deal. I know tenants can be a pain, but 10, 15 years ago when it's paid for, that's an asset for you. That's something that you got. I know everybody's got 401ks, and those are great. You can put your money in your 401ks and stuff like that. 401ks are great. There's nothing wrong with that. If your boss is matching those, use them, man. Any way you can put any money up for you for later in life, do it. The 401ks are great. I mean, sometimes that's the only investment avenue you've got with your employer. But if they're matching it, max it up, man. We match it for our people. Don't ever do that. But if you can pick up a rental property every now and then, guys, somehow, some way, I'm telling you, you can pick them up. A lot of times these people will owner finance them for you, guys. Owner financing is the greatest thing in the world. It doesn't affect your debt ratio. It doesn't affect your credit at all. If anybody will owner finance for you, you do it all day long. You call me, I'll check it out. I'll do the note and mortgage for you. That is the greatest thing in the world. Just make sure that they've got good title. That's important. That's what we check for. You make sure they're the owners. You make sure they have good title. And I'm telling you, if you get owner financing, guys, that's great. It doesn't affect you at all. And you still can own the property. I love owner financing. I love people who say, hey man, my landlord's going to owner finance it. He doesn't know anything on it. Do a note and mortgage. Man, that's a home run. And guys, if you own property, and I don't sell them, I'd owner finance them. You can owner finance these things at 6, 7, 8, 9%. These people are still, it's a good payment for them. And that's not paying any bank fees, and you're not going to get 6, 7, 8, 9% on any damn thing you got, except maybe some of these things that Jens and that guy might have, been handling. But you're not going to get that any income anywhere. So I've owner financed a couple of my properties. I'm not getting that. I can get 6, 7, 8%. I'm not getting that anywhere else. If y'all are, let me know what you're doing, because there ain't anything else there out there. My damn checking account might earn me less than 1%. So, guys, real estate. The biggest thing in real estate, I think it's the greatest thing going, but you just do your due diligence. Get with people you trust. Get with people you know. Get with people you know that got that got your back on them. Okay, I mean, there's great deals in real estate, and there's some bad deals out there. There's some people out there that are bad people, and then bad dudes and bad guys that are, again, the biggest thing is find out who owns the damn property. This is part of contract law. The biggest thing on there is make sure that person selling it actually does own it, does have the authority to sell it. Just because there's an LLC or a corporation, I want to see that trust. You trust. You have the ability to sell. Let me see that trust. Let me see that LLC. Let me see your corporate documents. Vet these people. Don't just trust somebody they sign a contract you're in. Because I've seen it all. I've seen some crazy stuff out there. But again, I love real estate, and I don't know, man. I think it's a good thing if you can get in. Any way you can get in, guys. I don't like partnerships, okay? I don't like partners. If you're going to be in a deal with a partner, it needs to be your wife, and that's about it. Because you're stuck in that deal anyway, okay? But I'm just telling you, partners are made for dancing, guys. Let me tell you something. You laugh, but I'm telling you, I can tell you a lot about partners. But if you're going to get into partners, then you make sure somebody's got a good operating agreement in place, and you make sure that operating agreement spells out if Billy dies, I don't want to deal with Billy's old lady. I want to be able to buy Billy's old lady out. And vice versa. If Mary dies, I don't want to marry Mary's husband. Same thing. It's important that if you're buying, it's better to do it on your own. If you got to do it with some people, make sure some people you trust, and make sure there's an operating agreement, an LLC in place, that basically spells out when people die. Because everybody loves you when you're making money, guys. But when you're not making money, and all of a sudden you got to make that call and say, hey man, we got to chip in to replace a roof over here in the apartment building. It ain't cheap. And all of a sudden that's when you find out who's really in. When everybody's getting money, man, we're all in. All of a sudden you start asking, say, hey, we need a few bucks. Well, you can't get him on the phone. You can't get her on the phone. So I'm not a big fan of that. If you've got an operator, if you're going to have to deal with some people and you're all together, get a great operating agreement, make sure you get a good lawyer that can put one of those together. That's important. LLCs and corporations are good ways to protect yourself with if you've got multiple parties. But if you're an individual, I like the trust. The trust gives you the protection of an LLC, and it also gives you that basically financial planning stuff that a will would give you. It kind of keeps it in the family. If I die, it goes here, it goes to my successor trustee. It's all in the family. LLCs and corporations are good for when you've just got multiple parties and a bunch of properties. But individual, I like trust. Yes, sir.
Following up on that specifically, if I have a private investor who's willing to give me something like $60,000 to buy a property, would it be better to open an LLC in both our names, or to write up a contract where he's loaning me the money?
You make him the note and mortgage holder. Yeah, you don't want to be in him being your banker's enough. You don't want to be in a venture with your banker. I don't mean that the wrong way. Just get a straight note and mortgage. Yeah, guys, if you're buying property, guys, and they don't know anything, you want a note and mortgage. You want that property in your name. You want to be away from that banker. You pay that banker. You know, I've got some people that do some crazy thing. I like a straight note and mortgage. If he owns that property, his owner finds a note and mortgage on it. If you want to borrow some money from some people, that's fine. If you've got a property with no mortgage on it, you've got some equity, and you've got a first, and the guy or gal doesn't mind being in a second, you just do a straight note and mortgage on your property. I can help you with that, or I can at least walk you through it. Again, a lot of this, guys, is just getting your feet wet, just getting in there. You know, these guys, a lot of these guys are talking about stuff that's crazy stuff. They all do some crazy stuff. I know a lot of these guys, but some of you guys, I mean, I started out buying my first rental house in 1980. Jimmy Carter was in the White House, and my interest rate was 13.75 on a 5-year ARM. And I was praying to God at 5 years that wasn't going to be at 18%. So, you know, but again, that's how I started out. I had my first little rental house. I still have it on James Island. It's not a whole lot better than it was then, but but again, but I own it outright. And what I'm saying is, I started with that. You can start with that. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be big. You know, best thing you do, just ask around, guys. Ask people. A lot of these guys, like I said, they call people all night long. I got friends of mine that call people all night long, cold calling on leads. Say, you want to sell your house, and sell your house. Say, may get 1 out of 50. You know, sometimes they get 5 out of 50. Sometimes they home run it on a weekend. But it's a hustle business. And if it was easy, guys, everyone would be doing it. And everyone's not doing it. They're not doing it well because not everyone's willing to hustle. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not. It's a hustle business. That's what I do. I hustle. I drop off 50 dozen donuts and bread every Monday and Tuesday myself. Every lawyer in our firm does the same thing. We drop off probably a couple thousand boxes of donuts and bread every week. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a salesman. And I'm a hustler. And if you want to make it out there in this work, you got to hustle. You're going to kiss some frogs. You just are. And if you're not, guys, it's just going to be luck. The lottery, you know, you can't win if you don't play. I stand behind them waiting to get my Diet Coke at the gas station. And, you know, I can't lose if I don't play either. So there you go. But any questions, guys? Anything? I mean, like I said, we do some crazy stuff.
I
Yes,
have
sir.
a question regarding rent to buy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's my understanding that it's not allowed anymore after Dodd-Frank. Yes, can you tell us something about it?
What do you mean, rent to own?
Rent to own, yes.
You can do, I mean, people do them. I mean, I don't know Dodd-Frank, I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, I have plenty of clients that still do a rent to own. And there are people that'll do them. I mean, you can rent and they'll give you a portion of the rent. I mean, a lot of people do that. I'll give you, it's almost like an option. You talking about I'm going to rent with an option to purchase what you're doing. And some people will give you a credit for every $100 a month, stuff like that. You know, I'm okay with that. You know, again, you just got to make sure you dial it up right. Make sure you create that document right. Make sure there's the lease and there's the option. It's very important that that be written correctly. I mean, I've had some crazy contracts come over that will close when I sell my house. Guys, be careful of that kind of, when you sell, I may sell my house 10 years from now. I mean, you know, you end up having to sue somebody who drafts a contract like that. What do you mean? I'm going to buy your house when I sell mine. Well, you know, when are you going to sell yours? I don't know. But I got an option to buy yours for the rest of your life. You know, it's kind of funny, but I've had some people run the contracts to me like that. It's very important. And there's nothing wrong with rent to own like that, at least. But again, I'm not a fan of it. I've always said, you know, if you want to buy my house and you're a tenant, just knock on the door the day you want to buy. I can own or finance it for you, or you can go get your bank loan. But you know, when you start saying, hey, I'm going to give you $50 for every month, and my deal is, okay, what are you going to sell it for them for? Okay, what's the price going to be down the road? Okay, I've got an option to buy it. We put $200,000 on it. Back in 2005, 6, 7, and 8, when the market went to hell, those things became lawsuits on a daily basis. Hey, you're locked in to buy at 200. It's only worth 100 now. I mean, you know, who's going to buy that? You know, again, I just, you know, I'm not a big fan of those. A lot of people do them though. I have a lot of friends that want to do them, and I'll prepare them for them. But I'm just not a fan of that. But again, a ton of people do them. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, actually, second question I have is, I do have some rental properties, so how would I convert them actually to a trust, or to a living trust?
You can. I mean, we've got a young lady in our office. It's not like convert. You just basically put them into trust. You put those properties into trust. The only thing you have to be careful, guys, be careful when you transfer properties from your individual name into an LLC or into a corporation or trust because of your title insurance. Your title, you will lose your title insurance coverage when you transfer those. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with putting them in a trust. I think if individually they should be in a trust. A trust is the best route for you. It protects you like an LLC does, and it's, as far as financial planning, it's great. and it leaves them to your family and stuff like that. But you be careful with your title insurance policies. Title insurance policies, guys, for those who don't know, when you buy property, banks make you get title insurance to protect them. I always tell you to get owner's title insurance because it's a one-time fee. It protects you for just crazy stuff that may have been out there that we may have missed or may have been beyond our title searches. It's really inexpensive, good to have, but title insurance companies, like any insurance company, hope not many people in here. Anybody in here sell insurance? Insurance companies, credit card companies, and bankers, the three biggest crooks in the world. You know, none of them pay you anything. So title insurance companies are just like that. They don't want to pay anything, so when you transfer that property, your policy is pretty much, you got to transfer. You can get a reissue rate a little cheaper, but we have to rewrite your policy. There's nothing wrong with that because you should put those, I think you should put those properties in your trust. It's good for liability's sake and it's good for financial planning. It's good you have some rental properties. It works out pretty well. But yeah, get them in a trust. I think that's smart. And you probably get an attorney compared to trust for you, a revocable trust. It's good stuff. Yep. Yes, sir.
One of the challenges that, or the concerns that people have with the rent to own versus the lease option is if they miss a payment or default or something like that. Now, which court are you taking them to get them out of the house, so to speak? Are you taking them to an eviction court? And so the thing is to figure out how to structure the contract. Really, the best option for you as a landlord is to go to an eviction court because then they're out quick. But then if you misword the language or misphrase something, then you might find yourself in a foreclosure court. Yeah. Is that then what your understanding is too, or the kind of the challenges surrounding those different types of agreements?
I can tell you this, guys. If you do an installment contract, and a lot of people, if you miss one, I take the property back. There ain't a judge in the world going to let you take a property back from anyone that's made a year's worth of payments. I can tell you what, you get in front of a judge, and he's going to say, no, you're going to take you foreclose on it. Yeah. Now, most judges will make you foreclose on something like that.
Now, if it is a straight lease with option.
And again, if you create it properly, and you breach the lease, the option is null and void, then you're out. That's what's important, that you have that language, you have two separate documents, and that's where people get in trouble. No, I need to have this lease, you breached this lease, that option that he had to buy is null and void.
But from your experience, that is valid in an eviction, the judge will honor an eviction.
Yeah, an eviction he will if you've got both of them set up that way. But if you don't, like you said, guys, if you get the wrong Yahoo drafting your documents, and all of a sudden you're trying to get rid of somebody, I'm telling you, man, judges of these, and even in foreclosure actions, your tenants, man, they ain't going to throw your tenants out around Christmas. And they ain't going to throw your tenant, and let me tell you something, the bank still wants the payment, but I'm telling you, man, it's not easy to evict people anymore. All they got to do is I want a hearing. They go down, they go give them a hearing. I mean, the bottom line is it ends up 60, 90, 120 days to get some of these yahoos out of your house.
And one of the more advanced skills that you kind of learn to do as a savvy investor is you learn to negotiate with your tenants before you ever get to a courtroom. And that's a tactic you can learn. You can make agreements, understanding your risk involved, understanding the contract and the risk involved in that. And the people who pull off the rent to owns or the lease options really well, they're fair, first of all. You're making something you're making a fair agreement. They're not ripping anybody off. But in the event where the tenant doesn't do what they said they would, then being savvy enough to be able to disengage without involving an attorney or a court. That's important also.
You hire a lawyer, guys, I have clients of mine, I'm going to sue them. No, you're not. 99% of you aren't going to sue them because you ain't got the money to pony up. These lawyers, the real lawyers that are going to sue for me, they want a retainer. They want $5,000 to $10,000, and they're going to charge you $200, $300, $400 an hour. No, you're not going to sue them. 99% of my clients, 95% of my clients can't afford to sue them. And 99% of them, it's just not going to happen. Now, every now and then I'll have a client that'll say, you know what, you're going to sell me that house. And you can sue people and make them sell it. You just got to have the money to do it. I've got a few clients that have done that. But obviously, like he said, guys, you want to keep lawyers, and I hate to say it, but you want to keep lawyers out of anything you can when it comes to court. If you can work it out yourselves, it usually works better. Now, every now and then you need a lawyer. We're talking about real estate here, not car wrecks and all that stuff. But real estate-wise, if you can work it out with a tenant and get them in and out, fine. But guys, if a tenant's leaving, just make sure you get some paperwork, get some stuff signed. You know, and I tell you another thing that people get in trouble in, guys, is that rent deposit, that earnest money, that's not your money. That needs to be held in a separate account. I've had some clients of mine get in some serious trouble about that. That is not your money.
What about the option deposit? What the option?
Option money?
Is that?
I mean, it's how the language reads in there. Some of the guys will bring, and gals will bring stuff to me that they're allowed to use that option money, you know. That right there is a recipe for disaster. Because when they use that option money, then all of a sudden you find out they haven't been paying on the mortgage, and all of a sudden they're in trouble with that.
What if they give you cash?
Yeah, cash is, that's not good, guys. I mean, if you can give us, if your tenant can pay you cash, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they bring up good points, guys. Everyone, there's good and bad in all the deals. I mean, I can make, you know, leases with options and rent to owns work. You can make them work. I just like the least amount of problems when I got a deal. I want to be able to get in and get out easy. I want my clients to be able to get in and get out. I don't want my clients to ever be stuck in something. I always want, when my clients go to buy a property, I want them to have subject to financing, subject to appraising, and subject to my client being okay with the inspection. I don't care if my client, for any reason or no reason, I don't care if my client wakes up and says, you know what, I just don't feel good today, I ain't buying that property. I want my client to always have that out. I don't ever want my client to say, damn, I don't want that property, I'm stuck. Nope. If you can't make up your mind, guys, in 30 days, whether you buy something, if it gets down, just get out. In a contract, if you're getting down to that last couple of days to inspect, you know, just get out. You can always get back in. Okay? Don't ever let someone say, you've got to do this, got to do that. I mean, you pick up the phone and call me. I mean, I don't have my cards with me, but I'm there all the time. I'll do lien searches for you. I'll help you out on stuff, guys. I mean, I don't charge. We're not hourly guys. If your deal doesn't close with us, we don't collect. You know, it's just not how we work. You know, we collect if we close. We don't, you don't know me, I don't want money for a title search or something like that. It's just not how we work.
I can vouch for that, actually. I can call him 8 o'clock and if he answered questions.
And it's not even the money. If you didn't close, I don't want any money from you.
And I was going to mention that as well. I finally got my first deal under contract, but before I did it, I called Mark. We had never spoken before. I said, hey, what's the deal on this property? I called him on Friday, Monday morning. It was in my inbox, knew what was going on, and could negotiate with the seller from there. And that was just one call away. I spoke directly to you, so it was awesome.
It's not cost. Guys want you all to do well in it. Real estate, again, like I said, if you hustle in real estate, you can do well in it. I mean, I like trust. Some people don't. I think trust is the greatest way to go. Land trust, guys, don't put anything in a land trust in this state. Someone tells you put something in a land trust, there's no statute for land trust in this. I'm not going to get into it, but some of the savvier people, a land trust is a disaster. So please, you can put them in a regular trust, or put them in an LLC or corporation, but don't put anything in a land trust. Just trust me on that one. And
Abby told me the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I have been suffering with land trust. I mean, you all know me. I mean, and actually, I closed a deal with a very well-known person in Charleston, a very well realtor in Charleston. I did a land trust, but the problem actually was not the land trust itself. The problem was the lawyer that did the closing.
Hope that wasn't us.
No, that was not Mark. What happened was when the lawyer did the title search, they find only 2 liens on the property. But I bought the property, paid the first 2 mortgage that was there, and fixed the property. When I went to sell, the seller's lawyer was Mark. Mark would find the 3rd lien over there that wiped out all my profit. Not only that, I said, what should I do, Mark? And he said, well, find a lawyer.
A real lawyer.
Yeah, a real lawyer, yeah.
Not a
So
real
the problem
lawyer.
was, I mean, it wasn't even my fault because I had the title insurance, did the title search, the lawyer supposedly did the title search, but I had the title insurance. And the lawyer said, no, it wasn't our fault. It was your fault. And how can it be my fault if you was the lawyer on the closing? so on the end of the day, I had to wait 1.5 years to get my money.
I remember that one.
And I paid
40%.
40% to my attorney because it's not every single lawyer that's going to go against another lawyer. So I have to hire somebody out of state to sue the South Carolina lawyer. So I win, yeah, thank God for that. I was right, but I had a year and a half my money tied up with we can't do anything. So
I remember that one. That was.
oh, I remember.
I didn't represent you. I remember. I was like, God, who did that? But that is what. Guys, here's the deal. I'm not a 9-to-5 guy. There's nothing fancy about us. We're real estate lawyers. Our office. I'll close you at 6, 7 in the morning, and again, I close people late at night. For my builders, I close all hours of the night. If you ever need help, you need to come in early, you need some help, we can help you with wills, trusts, estates, you know, we do everything. And we don't, like I said, we don't like, but it's all real estate. It's probate, it's quiet title actions, all that stuff. But if you have a question or something, you know, it's not about money. If you want to come in and talk, I'm not going to charge you. If you need me to help you draft a contract, I'm not going to charge you to draft a contract. Just give me a shout. Don't run from real estate. I think real estate's the greatest, safest investment you got out there. The get-rich-quick guys, the guys that want you to, you know, there's kind of those guys on TV and all this stuff. I don't know. I like to go touch it, feel it, see it. I like to be in my state where I can go touch it, feel it, and see it. And I mean, there's not. Again, and the pride of owning something is also a good thing. So, you know, if you need help with anything, like I said, I'm no magician. We will close anything and everything. I'm not the smartest lawyer out there. We like to feel like we outwork more people. There's nothing fancy about our firm, though. We do a ton of closings, but we try and do them right. We're going to screw stuff up from time to time. I said, if I walked on water, I'd be in Vegas. I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. And we do make a mistake, we'll fix it, and we'll pay for it. We don't run from it. I mean, like I said, we're going to miss stuff. I'm only as good as my abstractors. So, yes, sir.
What's if you do convert a property from like a single ownership to a trust, as opposed to LLC, will you be able to have as much freedom to get another property?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, but we have to create your trust. You know, Abby creates our trust. Abby Robertson, she handles that. It's the trust. You got to look at the trust document. That trust is created. What powers does it give you as trustee? If you're the trustee of trust, it allow you to sell property, buy, sell. It may have other beneficiaries and successor trustees if you die, but typically you want that revocable trust to give you the power to do anything and everything. So yeah, I mean, I like the trust because it gets it out of your individual name, you know? If you've got rental properties and little Johnny falls down the back steps and breaks his neck, it's always your fault. And if you don't have enough insurance coverage, they're coming after you personally. That's why I like things in trusts, LLCs, corporations. You get that corporate veil. You get that protection from that lunatic client that burned up in the house and blames you for it all. It happened, even though they were smoking a cigarette in there. But no, that's why I like trust. And nothing wrong with a corporation, but I like trust better if it's an individual. Yes, sir.
I see on cash records quite a bit, people's names under ownership,
Yes, sir.
followed by survivorship. What does that mean, survivorship?
Joint tenants is right of survivorship?
It just says survivorship.
Well, that usually means that someone owns it as joint tenants. Like, you know, if I were married, I would own property as joint tenants. For like mine and my wife, joint tenants right of survivorship means if something happens to me, it skips the probate process and it automatically reverts to my surviving wife. If something happened to her, that's why you want joint tenants. Joint tenants, I think, is great. It keeps everything out of probate, keeps your estate a lot easier. I mean, you always want joint tenancy, if you can. Yes, sir.
Only that, you should only have that in properties you own,
Yeah, yes, sir.
or versus renters?
You can put it in anything. You can put it in any property. It doesn't matter if it's your primary residence. You can have it, you know, if you want to do that. I mean, usually rentals, you've got them in a trust or something like that. But your primary residence, because the county a lot of times won't give you the lower tax rate if you put them in an LLC or trust, just keep them in your individual name and do joint tenancy if you're married. It just keeps it out of probate. It makes it a lot easier for your wife or you if somebody passed away. You don't have to do it. It's not that probate's difficult, it's time consuming. That's the only reason.
How much does it cost to put a property in trust?
To quit claim a property?
No, to put a property in trust.
In a trust, I mean, you know, the expensive part is probably creating the trust. I mean, I can transfer a piece of property for $75 for you. It's not that, but you make sure the trust is already created. You see what I'm saying? You gotta create a trust. You got to create a trust that points you trustee and whoever successful trustee, maybe your wife or some kids and then beneficiaries. You got to create the trust. Yeah, don't deed into an LLC or a trust or a corporation that's not created yet. Well, then you got kind of like a null and void deed. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Those are good questions. Yes, sir. Somebody had something else? No, that's it.
Oh, well, when little Johnny falls off the back stairs.
And that does happen.
why is it always your fault? I mean, that might not be your area of law, but what, just as curiosity as rental property owners and all that?
It's not, but I mean, insurance companies are inherently, it angers the hell out of me because a lot of times my insurance company just rush and pay it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times they do that because I'll be honest with you, the cost is the litigation and that's the cost. I clerk for a federal judge in Oklahoma City, and the biggest cost, guys, is when lawyers get involved. And if you can jump in as an insurance company, if there's any liability there at the end of the day, they really want to go through a trial and hiring a lawyer, that's the cost of litigation. Is these yahoos out here, the SC&G could have a drunk driver run over you and kill you, and your family's still isn't going to collect a dime for a year because you know what? Billable hours. Hey, the guys, just pay me. But that's not the way it works in the legal world. It's unfortunate, but that's what insurance carriers like State Farm, Allstate, they get something like that, they usually try and jump on it and pay it.
They have what's called medical payments coverage. This is a separate from the liability coverage.
Yep.
And that's, they can, without discretion, just pay out money on that.
Yeah, and they, smart insurance companies will grab those, and you don't want litigation. Litigation doesn't do anything. That costs a fortune. And I don't want to litigate anything either. If there's something that we make mistakes, guys. If something we can make a mistake on, if something I can pick up and pay it right away and take care of it, I'm going to do it. Litigation is, you don't want to get involved with lawyers if you don't have to in litigation. I mean, litigation is the worst route in the world for anybody, other than maybe if you've been in a car wreck and some guy's helping you, great. But even insurance companies there, litigation costs a fortune, man. But guys, anything comes up, give me a shout, man. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
If you have a larger single-family portfolio, do you have like a maximum that you would recommend holding in one trust before starting another to keep the liability separate?
I've got clients that have 1,000 properties in an LLC. I've got pawn shop guys that have 500 properties in an LLC. I mean, because it's per property, you know what I mean? What they do is, typically, guys, if you get a lot of property and you've got an umbrella policy, over that, you're like $1 million umbrella policy, you get the underlying coverage of like $300,000, then it's got that million above it. My deal, guys, is I don't want to be insurance poor. I finally said, you know what? The hell with the insurance company. I've got 300,000, my individual properties, and got $1 million liability. But if that's not enough, then sue me. Unless you're grossly negligent, that you knew the wiring was out in a mobile home and you still let the people move in, they burned up. That's gross negligence. You might get the hell suit out of you for that. But otherwise, little Johnny falls down my steps, or somebody breaks their arm in the back on a trampoline, or somebody's dog, my dog eat. Great, I got $1.3 million. I hope that covers it. I'm tired of being insurance poor. I'm done with insurance companies. I cover what I have to cover. I think $1.3 million, you got to draw a line somewhere, And that's what I did. I finally said, I got an umbrella policy, I got $1.3 million. If that's not enough, then I'm just going to be sued. But then they got to go through my corporate bail or my trust sue. So, I don't have anything in my individual name anymore, so it doesn't matter. I just layer it, guys. That's what you got to do. Yes, sir.
Mark, you were talking about giving Uncle Sam the taxes and stuff.
Do you record this?
Yeah, I can pause it. You want me to pause it?
That's not even funny. It really isn't.
Yeah, and we'll put a disclaimer at the very front.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, it's okay. You helped us with the self-directed IRAs.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And
Those are
those
are good. If you've got an IRA guy, he brought up a good point. I mean, if you've got 401k, you can borrow money from those to buy houses. I mean, it's actually pretty good. I mean, it works out really well. I mean, it's a little challenging sometimes for us because you have to meet, everything's got to kind of fit in your little wedges. But you've got a 401k with some money in it. I mean, I have to say it's a great way to invest your money. I mean, they have some ownership in it too, but I think it's great. I have a lot of people doing that now. I mean, so if you got a 401k with some decent money in it and you want to invest it, you can. I mean, I've had a lot of people doing that. It's gotten caught on pretty well.
Yeah, I know you've helped us out quite a bit.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we try to. We can close. There's nothing that can't be closed, guys. So, I mean, it's not that we're magic workers. We just don't mind getting it done. We'll get it done. We'll find a way to get you closed. So, there's no magic out there. But yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I bought some tax deeds in Washington as well as Tennessee. I haven't done anything in South Carolina yet, but I heard you say that there can still be liens or mortgages on them. That wasn't the case there. I know every county and every state is different, so I wanted to know your knowledge on
Well,
this.
here, well, tax deeds, nothing wrong with them, but you need to vet them. What I mean is I tell my friends, be careful buying those. You need to make sure that the county notified all proper parties, all proper parties. Like if a mortgage company doesn't properly, notify the county of their position on something, if one of them screwed up, then, if the county didn't notify somebody, then they're not wiped out. The importance of the tax deeds is that you're able to buy them. I love buying them, and I give them to Abby to quiet. I don't care if it costs me $7,000. If I buy I had a friend of mine bought a property on Folly Beach, 6 years ago, tax deed property, a nice beach house for $80,000. Wow. I had 2 years ran $7,000. I ran a quiet title action. He sold it the other day for $980,000. I mean, that's a tax. Those don't come along that often, but they do come along. But the problem, you got to vet them. You got to. I just tell people, call me, I'll shoot you over to Abby. Abby, sometimes it takes a while because the county's slow. I can't cuss around the house. I love using the crowds, I can let it fly, but sometimes the county's slow, so it takes a while for us to vet those things. But it is important that you know that everyone was properly notified in the tax sale. And if they were, then I can wipe them out in a quiet title action because they had notice and they didn't come forward and make payment. So if I notified everybody, I'm fine. But if I didn't notify everyone and I try to do that quiet title action, that mortgage company said, we never got notice. County never noticed. Well, all of a sudden I'm stuck with that mortgage I got to pay too. So it's just a matter of going in and making sure when you're buying those things, if you call, hey, I'm going down to look at this, a tax, I'm going down there, you give me 10 of them, I'll have Abby check them. They all check out, go. Because when I've got people buying from people that bought tax deeds, I always say, hey, let's go vet and make sure that guy bought it, let's make sure it's clean. That's very important, yeah.
So should we send the properties that we looking to buy a tax deed before the sale or after the sale?
No, before.
Before?
Yeah, if you're going down and looking, let me know and I'll let you know if they were properly vetted. It's very, very important. And guys, I'm telling you, and this is just a contracts, just to tell you, if you deal in tax deeds, just make sure if you're a realtor, I always tell these realtors, because some of these yahoos forget, you make sure if you're selling that, you're selling tax deeds, you make sure that you put in that contract that you're giving a quitclaim deed. If you're selling these properties, you're selling tax deed properties, you're not giving people a general warranty deed. Some savvier people understand what I'm saying. You got to be careful drafting these contracts. You tell me that I'm getting a general warranty deed and I'm buying your tax deed, you just bought yourself a quiet title action. I'm going to make you quiet my title. So you make sure you're a Yahoo realtor, if you're selling these things, you make sure you put in there, hey, I'm giving you a quitclaim deed. I'm not giving you a general warranty deed. I'm not giving you, I'm not giving you marketable title. You scratch through that in your contracts if you're selling those things. Because if you don't, and you're selling me one, and it says when you're giving me general warranty deed and marketable title, I'm going to make you pay for my quiet title action. So just be careful selling them. Again, I'm getting a little deep, but it's just real important. But yeah, here we just vet them. To be honest with you guys, they're pretty good investments. You can get up to 12% return on your money if it goes all the way to the end before these people redeem them. So the only thing, sometimes you get stuck with a property maybe you didn't want, and it's usually vacant land. Because most people that let property go for a tax sale is because it's non-income producing, they inherit. I don't know why they don't just sell it, but a lot of people just let them go. It's usually vacant land though.
Wetland.
Yeah, wetlands, yeah. Again, guys, it's all part of due diligence. I don't care what you're buying. If you're buying a little house on the corner, you're buying a hotel, you're buying a mobile home park, I don't give a rat's ass what you're buying. You do your due diligence. You make sure you dot your I's, cross your T's, you deal with people, you trust people who know what they're doing, and you'll be good. But you're going to kiss some frogs. You just are. If you're a hustler, I don't care, you still kiss some frogs. I mean, I was a little bit longer than I thought I was going to be in here with you guys. I was supposed to pick my little brother up at the airport about 30 minutes ago, so I could see it. It's ringing. It's all right, though. He's my little brother. I don't care. Anything else, guys? You good to go? What? I enjoyed it. You guys had some great questions. Usually, some of these things I go to, you guys were great. And everybody, you had some great questions. But again, guys, it's a hustle. And I think a lot of you guys in here are hustlers. You're always going to do well with this stuff. I'll leave you alone. Thank you.